All right, today we're going to talk about something way bigger than just using AI tools. We're talking about how to architect your entire organization for the AI era. Seriously, think of this as your playbook for building the future of work.
So, let me start with a really big question for you. Is your organization just reacting to AI? Bolting on new tech as it comes along? Or are you actually stepping back and intentionally designing how your company is going to work? Because that difference, well, it's everything.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to get our heads around the real design challenge AI is throwing at us. Then we'll talk about why that AI-first buzzword can actually be a trap. After that, we'll dig into this powerful idea of thinking like an architect, not a renovator. From there, it's all action. A new playbook for HR leaders, a peek at what a fluid org really looks like, and we'll wrap up with the first moves you can make, like right now.
Okay, first up, the AI Design Challenge. And look, the key thing to get right off the bat is this. This is not about which new software you should buy. The real, hard work is about fundamentally redesigning how we organize our teams, how we make decisions, and how we collaborate. It's a total rethink.
The reality is, we are building a future where our teams will be this incredible mix of humans doing human things, fully synthetic AI agents doing their thing, and these cool blended roles where people and AI are true partners. So the real question becomes, how on earth do you build an organization that can actually handle that new, complex workforce?
Now let's tackle a buzzword we hear all the time, AI first. It sounds super innovative, right? But honestly, it can be a strategic trap that might just derail your entire transformation before it even gets going.
I just love how consultant Malvika Jethmalani puts this. She says being AI first is kind of like saying you're internet first back in 1999, right? It sounds a little silly when you put it that way. AI is an incredibly powerful technology for sure, but it's a tool. It's the means to an end. It's not the end goal itself.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. The whole AI-first idea puts the technology, the tool, right in the center. And the risk there is you start treating this massive cultural transformation like it's just another IT project. The smarter, more strategic mindset, people-led, AI-enabled, you see the difference? It puts your stakeholders, your customers, your employees right at the heart of everything. And then you use AI to serve them better.
So what does it actually take to be AI-enabled? Well, it's a whole different vibe, a whole different culture. You need a culture that lives and breathes data, seeing it as a critical asset. You have to be obsessed with how humans and AI are going to collaborate. It requires this deep commitment to continuous learning from literally everyone. And maybe most importantly, AI has to be a strategic conversation in the boardroom, not just some line item in the IT budget.
Okay, this brings us to what I think is the single most important idea in this whole explainer, the difference between being a renovator and being an architect. Getting this distinction right is absolutely crucial.
Think about it like this. The renovator takes what they already have and just bolts AI on top of it. Sure, you might get a little more efficient, you get a nicer version of the same old house, but it's still the same house, with the same old foundation and the same old problems. The architect, on the other hand, starts with the incredible new capabilities of AI and designs the entire business around them. They're not just renovating, they're building a brand new dream house from the ground up.
And here it is, the huge, flashing warning sign of the renovator approach. If you just slap AI onto your old, outdated systems, you end up automating your existing dysfunction. You're just making broken processes run faster. And that is not a transformation. That is a high-speed nightmare.
So, if we're going to be architects, who leads this massive redesign? Well, all eyes are turning to the Chief Human Resources Officer. The CHRO's role is evolving like crazy, from a people manager to, well, something more like a performance architect.
Yeah, think of this new role as the Chief People and Performance Officer. You see, it's not just about payroll and policies anymore, not by a long shot. It's about enabling peak performance across the entire system. That means people, teams, and technology all working together to hit those key business goals.
So, what's in this new playbook? Well, first, you gotta have deep business acumen. You have to know the business inside and out. Then, you're partnering with IT to build the actual infrastructure for AI readiness. And this next one is so important. You have to foster a culture where it is safe to experiment, to try things, and even to fail. And this one is huge. The mission has to be about augmenting your people, making them superhuman, not just looking for ways to cut costs. And finally, you're driving this relentless cycle of upskilling to build a truly resilient workforce. So what happens when you actually do all this?
What does this new kind of organization really look and feel like? Well, you get a blueprint for what we can call a fluid organization.
Just look at the contrast here. It's night and day. We're moving from those rigid top-down structures to something way more flat and dynamic. Authority isn't about controlling information anymore. It's about who has the expertise. And you can forget about those siloed, fixed departments. We're talking about project-based squads that form, do amazing work, and then disband. It's a total reimagining of how work gets done.
And this means the role of a manager? Well, it has to change completely. As AI starts to handle all the routine stuff like coordinating tasks and monitoring progress, managers have to shift their energy to what humans do best: coaching, developing talent, showing empathy. Their value is no longer an oversight, it's an empowerment.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. This is big stuff. It sounds great, but where do you actually begin? How do you make this real? Let's get super practical and talk about your first moves, how to turn this grand strategy into tangible action starting today.
Here are 4 things you can literally start doing this week. 1. Start with mindsets. Have an honest, candid conversation with your team about all this. 2. Get practical. Map out all the repetitive, tedious work in your organization and find the low-hanging fruit for automation. 3. Run a hackathon. Create a safe space for people to get their hands dirty and just experiment with AI. And finally, number 4, take all those learnings and build a real AI roadmap that's tied directly to your business strategy.
And please, remember this. This is not a solo mission for HR. Real success absolutely requires a leadership triad. You need the Chief Human Resources Officer, the Chief Information Officer, and the CEO all working together in perfect lockstep, driving this thing from the very top.
And look, as you step into this, just keep one final piece of advice in mind. Don't expect perfection. As Malvika says, there's no playbook for this. These are brand new challenges for all of us. We're all trying to figure this out at the same time. The goal is progress, not perfection. It's about learning as you go.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. The future of work, it's not some distant thing we're waiting for. It's being built right now, in real time. And that leaves every one of us with a pretty simple choice. Are you going to be the architect who designs that future, or are you going to let yourself be designed by it?